Hey, what's up, guys? And yes, the final episode, guys. It's been quite the ride and it's been amazing. I can't complain. Thank you for all the likes and subscribes because of this video, the comments, everything. Today I'm going to be giving you the final episode of What If Naruto Was. A genius experimenter. But like you know, guys, this is Anime King 3, where I post the craziest what ifs all around, guys. So yeah, just sit back, relax. New what ifs are coming up soon for you guys to enjoy. And also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of Anime Prince of What If Naruto had Quincy and Soul Reaper powers. And also over Anime King 2, I post a brand new episode part 2 of What If Naruto was trained by all Hokages to become the next God of Shinobi. So go ahead, check that out and enjoy, guys. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we leap right into this new episode? Begin now, guys. So, the last part we left off. The Kages from all nations were making their way towards the land of iron. Temari, who had taken up the position as Kazekage, she was the youngest female Kage to ever exist, something that she took great pride in. However, she always wanted to know what happened to her brother. On the day of the invasion, Gaara went missing. Without Gaara, especially what he contained, the sand was weak, incredibly so. However, they were able to overcome. She and her brother put in the extra work, along with their competent shinobis, and they rise up to the occasion to become, well, what they once were. Now they were all attending the meeting to see what is going on. It seems like Oniki had changed in his old age, preferring peace than war, which was a good thing, and besides it would stop the chaos that was conflicting between Konoha and Kumo. On the other hand, Tsunade was panicking. The thought of Naruto really being the one behind this, it turned her stomach in a wrong way, as she didn't want to believe it, but everything was lined up so perfectly to show that he was the actual enemy, but she didn't want to believe it. She tried to, but it was becoming too much for her to deny, as she went with Guy, and also Jiraiya as well, in case this was a trap. As they attended the meeting, Taki was in catastrophe. Bodies littered every single where. The leader of the village, Shibuki, was on his knees in pain, as he looked up towards the individual that stepped in and erased half of his village with a wave of his hand. As Naruto looked down towards him and asked him once again, where was the Jinchuriki? Shibuki refused to tell, however, Naruto saw right through him. Konoha was probably responsible for this, taking the last tail beef because they knew that someone was gathering them. Tsunade, that crafty little woman, he thought to himself. Shibuki now realized the bad state that he was in. The enemy had found out, without him offering or giving anything in exchange. He was screwed. He was correct, as Naruto dragged a literal meteor from the sky and dropped it on the village, eviscerating everything. Some time later, as Gorin and Anko arrived towards the location. Arriving there, the two girls were immediately met with attacks from all around. However, they bided the time enough for him to arrive. He was like a benevolent god dropping from the heavens. As he looked around, Tsunade was speechless. Jiraiya was shocked. Guy couldn't believe what he was seeing. The rumors were true. They all attacked him after. Well, he barely opened his mouth. However, he showed them why. He was above them by trampling the place with so much power. It was hard for them to move. She asked him what did he want, as Naruto explained to Tsunade that he was gonna take the elemental nations, just like what the Sage of Six Paths did. He was gonna take it all. They believe him to be a fool, saying that he cannot do that. However, he declared war on them all. But they told him that he would not leave this place. Naruto had the two girls down there. This made the foes before he grabbed Snappy, as he started to speak with her. He told her about his plan and what it entailed to do. She told him that she will use every fiber of her being to stop him, as he told her to try. He then proceeded to leave after he had said his piece, as they knew that they had to make some critical movements now. Sometime later, Zetsu had been there collecting all of the informations. After getting what he needed, he reported back. Itachi found out that his brother was dead. Naruto had brought his brother's body there, giving it to Snappy. The moment he heard that, Itachi signed off, completely cutting contact with the Akatsuki, surprising the others as he just vanished from the hologramic state. As Kisame was told to find out what the hell just happened, which he proceeded to do. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the play check of yourself, and what do you say guys? We jump into this final episode. Begin now guys. Today was a wonderful day. For some, but not for some. For one, Naruto Uzumaki, today was heavenly. He was just waking up. Once he came to, he looked to his right, towards the beautiful face of the sleeping uncle, which brought a smile to his face. To his left was a stunning face, the gorgeous Gurren. They were in bed. The two girls had ambushed him with a proposition. Recently, Gurren had spoken to Uncle. As much as she tried to keep everything to herself, she couldn't take it anymore. However, the both of them were together, and she wanted to join what was going on. Well, not as a fighting partner, but as a romantic partner as well. Uncle and her spoke about this, and Uncle could see that Naruto cared for her as well, saying that they were the only two people that he would ever protect and care for. So after some discussion, she agreed to test it out, to see how she felt with it. And Uncle herself was a bit bi-curious, so she had to say she enjoyed her time. Gurren never thought about doing that with a woman, but it was amazing. As for Naruto, when they came to him with this, well, they did something for him that he was hoping to speak to them about. After all, he kind of had a thing for Gurren as well. Given the fact that she was with him for a long time now, he could see himself being with the both of them. However, he thought that it would be a lot of convincing on his part, but it didn't seem that way. Slowly raising up, Naruto floated out of bed, not disturbing the girls. As he landed right on his feet, he wasn't wearing anything, and he did not really care. After all, he owned this place. Soon enough, the entire elemental nation. Slowly walking towards the balcony, he raised a hand as the balcony doors fluttered open. Stepping out, what he saw was the magnificent sight, as he was on a gigantic structure that was levitating high up in the skies. There was a protective dome around them, but the air was still fresh and protected. Nothing could get in or get out without his permission. The thing was like a literal fortress of solitude, a fortress of doom that was unbreakable. The power that he used to generate the force around it was, well, more than you would imagine. And also there was mechanics to making the thing stay up like this. As most would forget, but Naruto was a seal master. Not to forget, he stole the forbidden scroll of sealing. He had more knowledge than every single person currently residing on this planet. The fresh morning air whipping across his naked skin felt amazing as he stood there fully nude. Soon enough, they will finally make their move, as he really hoped the elemental nation was prepared. After all, he didn't want to be bored. Time skip. Fu looked around the strange island, as she looked towards her counterpart that was here as well. His name was B. Killer B, he called himself. He liked to rhyme a lot. Fu was a bit scared. Well, she was more than just a bit scared, she was a lot scared. The world is going down bad right now. There was a war taking place. She wasn't given the details or specifics. However, she was able to find out that she and this person share a similar burden. The both of them were Jinjulikis. So it must has to be something with this group called the Akatsuki. She wondered how Shibuki and the others were doing. Granted, she wasn't that liked by many people within the village, but she had her few friends, people that was close to her, Shibuki being one of them. She hoped they were alright. She was taken from her home by the Hokage, said that she needed to be in a safe custody. Shibuki realized that he did not have the power to protect her, even though she wanted to fight. He said that he couldn't live with himself if something happened to her. So, to make sure that he was happy, she went along. And now that she was here, this guy was gonna help her to control her Biju. Well, that was not gonna be so hard, seeing that her and Komi had a good relationship. However, she had not yet received the full power of Komi. However, here, on this island that was moving, she will be able to get the full power of Komi. And it was gonna be amazing, she thought to herself. While that was going on, several sea serpents were searching the entire place. There was many snakes going through the elemental nation as well. Kabuto was behind this occurrence, spreading out his influence to find the two remaining Jinjulikis, as they were all that Naruto needed at the moment. Kabuto had decided to go along with the partnership, as he wanted to see how far Naruto can go. Kabuto actually believed that he can do this. Take the war like the sage did, place these people in their place. And he would be right there by Naruto's side as a trusty individual that will aim for his own goal as well. He wasn't a psychic anymore. Yes, he would not be the right-hand man or someone second. However, the both of them had a sustaining partnership that was working well for them. With Sasuke's death and Kabuto in charge of the Hidden Sound, while Naruto had taken the rest of the smaller nations. This was good. It was only a matter of time before he found them. Meanwhile at Konoha, Tsunade's forehead was throbbing. You could literally see the veins pulsing. This had been her 8th council meeting for the day. There was so much to discuss, so much to skip and give pardon. They had to take breaks and this and that. She called the breaks as skips, so that is why she called her 8th council meeting. While she wanted to protect her home and the rest of the elemental nation, there had to be a less stressful way of doing this, right? There has to be, she thought to herself. Jiraiya was running recons with the other nations and several messengers. They were preparing themselves as best they could. Naruto had 7 of the 9 tailed beasts. That was more than enough power to level nations. And not to mention with the eyes that he possessed. If the Sharingan could take control of the Bijus, what could the Rinnegan do? The thought was terrifying. When she brought the news to Sakura, Sakura broke down. She literally broke down and fainted right in front of her. Hearing that the boy that she loved majority of her childhood was dead, despite knowing the horrible thing that he did to her other best friend. Yes, she believed Naruto to be her best friend back then. And now hearing that her best friend was, well, the monster that was going to destroy the elemental nation, Sakura was placed in a catatonic state. The girl was not reacting much to things. Tsunade tried her best to help her. However, she had to be here. Her parents were trying her best, because she needs Sakura out there. Or maybe it was good that she stayed here. There was a chance that majority of them will die, and she didn't want one of them to be Sakura. Tsunade sighed. She failed to change Naruto or help him. And now they had to go to war. So many will die, so many will fall. However, she refused to let him take the elemental nation. She thought that he was a kind, loving person back then, but now she realized that he was far from that. He was something that she did not see, something that she did not understand. He was using her and everyone else from the beginning. But now she was going to put a stop to that. And she was going to do it with her bare hands. Meanwhile that was going on, Nagato was angry. He was not pleased. He'd already lost Sasori and Deidara, and now Itachi was gone. When Kisame had came to back in the real world, Itachi was already gone. He had tried to chase after him, but what met him was a swarm of black flames, which he had to put out before going through. That gave Itachi enough time to flee. He didn't know what the hell was going through Itachi's head. Well, he kind of knew. His brother was dead. Maybe he wasn't that uncaring for his family as he thought. The Akatsuki was not standing good. They were not standing good at all. It was a matter of time before this war happened. And this Naruto Uzumaki was gonna throw everything in chaos. Maybe even them. Meanwhile that was going on, Jiraiya was making his way. Another message had to be he came to a stop when a flock of crow started to fly around the area. He was surprised as Itachi appeared. Itachi, he said, remembering the last time they met up, as he narrowed his eyes at him. I am not here to fight. Jiraiya saw it, there and then. The man looked broken. His eyes were unfocused, hazy. His body language looked like he was tired, like he was on the verge of giving up. What happened to you? Said Jiraiya. As I said, I'm not here to fight. There's something that you should know. Yeah? What is that? The leader of the Akatsuki. He's in the hidden ring. He might be able to help you with your endeavor, if I fail. Wait. Why are you telling me this? And what do you mean if you fail? I will find Naruto Uzumaki, and to the best of my ability I will try to kill him. If I succeed, I will be dead as well. If I fail, I will still be dead. But know this, the leader possessed the Rinnegan as well. Wait, the Rinnegan? Yes. From what we've heard back, Naruto also possessed these eyes. Maybe there's a chance of you speaking to the leader of the Akatsuki and getting him to cooperate with you, to work together and take down this foe if I fail to do so myself. Wait, why are you doing this? What's going on? Jiraiya even paused as he remembered. This is about Sasuke, is it? Itachi sighed. He looked up to the heavens. Thank you for listening, he said. He burst into a flock of crows as he vanished. Jiraiya stood there dumbfounded, not expecting his day to go like this. Time skip. A day later. Itachi was searching. He didn't know how or when, but he hoped that his illness hold back for a little bit until he found Naruto Uzumaki. At least he could do was get revenge for Sasuke, and also save the world from this calamity. However, there was a high chance that he would fail. But he had an ace up his sleeve. He will send him away, he will trap him, seal him. From what he heard, he was cocky, and overconfident as well, in his abilities from what Zetsu had saw, walking into the Kage area. Yes, he believed that he was untouchable. As Itachi calmly made his way, he was near Taninakuni, a local village that he was passing through. There was nothing here. He didn't know where he was gonna find him, but he just started searching. Maybe he had already lost his mind at the death of his brother, saying that he had nothing to live for. Walking out of that village, making his way, he arrived towards an empty dirt road. Itachi wondered if he was seeing things, as he saw someone standing there. Itachi rubbed his eyes. Maybe he was hallucinating because he was so angry. Well, well, well. Look at you. Looks like you're already dying. Doing half my job for me. It is you, Itachi said. What do you expect, a mirage? I figured that killing Sasuke would get back to you. After all, I've been looking forward to face the man that massacres entire clan in one night. Itachi actually broke a smile on his face. You were looking for me, he said. Yes, I was, said Naruto. After all, I intend to erase all Uchihas off the face of the earth. Your backwater, weakened down eyes of the Rinnegan is a stain on the eyes I possess, and I intend to get rid of them. Unlike the sage, I will be the only one that possesses true, ultimate power. I will not be some naive, idiotic fool that give it off to people. I will be the one to take this world by the balls and squeeze as tight as I can, said Naruto, with a cocky smile. Itachi actually started to laugh. Well, it seems like I was correct. You did love your brother. You've gone senile. Immediately a gigantic structure formed around Itachi. It had a shield, the other mirror, and it had a strange blade with a little bottom at the end that looked like a bottle. Immediately Itachi coughed after forming the thing. His time had been running out. Using up that black fire to get away from Kisame. Not to mention the years that passed. He had been soon wondering when Sasuke would have come for him. But now, he had wasted his health a lot. But he had enough to kill this bastard. Itachi struck out with a sword of Totsuka as the thing drove right through Naruto. A smirk actually came on his face. He was right. His cockiness got the better of him. Now, said Itachi as he was about to seal him in. Wait, what is this? Said Naruto. What are you doing to me? Your cockiness is too much. You believe that you're untouchable, unbreakable. However, you're not unsealable. You think this can hold me, said Naruto. He held out his hand. What the hell? Why isn't it working? Once you're in the process, your chakra is jumbled and negated by the effects of the sword of the Totsuka. And now, said Itachi as he started to yank. You bastard! This won't hold me! I beg to differ, said Itachi as he started to pull, as Naruto's body seemed to liquefy as he was yanked, as he roared in anger before he was sucked into the blade. Once he was, Itachi dropped to one knee, panting a bit. However, there was a smile on his face. It worked. It actually worked, he thought to himself. He figured that he would try to reflect or something, but no, that wasn't the case. It worked, and he was dead. Itachi froze at that voice, as he couldn't believe what he was hearing. He did not move or try to turn, as a hand rested on his shoulder. My oh my, Itachi. It seems like not even your famous Sharingan can distinguish between me and my Funjutsu clone. Isn't that right? How? Itachi was trying to say how, as a word caught in his throat. You know, before going on my conquests, I was always obsessed with relics, things that would be grateful for me to obtain in the future. I came across information reading about some lineage of the Uchiha, the sword of Totsuka. Once I noticed their Sano, and the bottom of it, I saw that there were some similarities. In that moment, I did what I came to do. I switched with my clone that I had, watching you from the distance. Well, actually, it's been watching you for a day now. What, said Itachi? Yes, I have had eyes on you since you start your little journey of finding me. I also thought that you had some kind of special seal to hold me. After all, you know that you could not beat me in a straight-on fight, especially when it comes to power, because you heard of the eyes I possess. So you have to have something, said Naruto. So I decided to be cautious. While I'm sure I can actually fight the sealing powers of your blade, I'm not 100%. Because you see, Itachi, I'm not yet at my full peak. I am not yet what I'm supposed to be. What? He said. Consider the fact that you're dying. I'm gonna fill you in. As Naruto leaned in and whispered something in his ear. Hearing that, Itachi sprung as he swung his hand back. However, Naruto grabbed it and snapped his wrist, causing the man to let out a whimper of pain. Naruto then pulled his arm down as his knee broke Itachi's nose, causing him to stagger back. Naruto raised his arm and backhanded Itachi. He flew right out of his Sano. As he crashed into the wall, Itachi looked up as Naruto stomped in his face. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. He didn't stop. He just kept on stomping and stomping and stomping. When he finally came to an end, Itachi's face was bloody. His eyes were barely open. He raised a shaky hand, only for Naruto to slice. A black blade appeared in his hand, made from the same metal from the black rods. Itachi's hand was torn off. As the man let out a gurgle scream in pain, as Naruto gripped him by the throat and lifted him off the ground. Have to say, I'm a bit disappointed by your reaction time. But I guess I shouldn't be. You're dying anyways. Your body is slow and weak. The chance of you actually beating me was slim to none. However, I'm gonna send you where your brother is. He must be waiting for you. As Naruto started to laugh. Well, the reunion between you and the other Uchihas is gonna be fun. I wonder how they're gonna treat you. In hell, said Naruto. Well, when I see you in a couple of centuries or millennia, you can tell me. Why don't we let you go in style? Repeating what you did not so long ago. Burn in the flames that came from hell itself. Amaterasu. Itachi did not cry out, as Naruto dropped in black flames swallowing his body whole. He was too weak, too broken to do anything. And also, he did not have the will to live, or even fight back. He only had one chance to do this because he knew that he could not beat Naruto in a hand-to-hand or jutsu fight. However, he failed, and now he was burned to ash. Naruto dusted off his clothes. Well, that was anticlimactic, he said, as he started to walk away. Meanwhile, that was going on. Both Gurren and Anko was smiling as they walked through the desolate street of the other village that they just took over. They stopped in front of the village leader who was on his knees, as Anko raised her feet and slammed his head into the ground. A blissful smile on her face, as the man cowered in fear under her boots, and the rest did the same. She turned towards Gurren, who was giving her a strange look. What's wrong? Well, that was hot, said Gurren. Oh really, Uncle said, with a luscious smile on her face. Yeah, I mean, what you just did, it was amazing. Oh come on, you're making me blush, Uncle said. That was the 7 villages that they had taken over, making these people understand who was in charge now. After all, soon they will go up against the major villages. They were just breaking the smaller villages, while Naruto was going after another big fish. A few guards were currently located at the Hidden Rain. They were doing daily patrols, making sure that their village was safe, even though this was a moot point given the fact that, well, their lord was basically always protecting them. However, they weren't really watching over the safety, they were just making sure if anyone tried to sneak in, they would be here as first responders, so the lord didn't have to waste his time with them. The place was always in a gloomy mood because of the rain constantly pouring down. But despite that, at the daytime you would still see that there was light. However, something was immensely wrong at the moment. The place started to get darker and darker. A young teenager, well, not that young, he was 17 now. His name was Takamai. Takamai glanced up towards the heavens, and his mouth dropped open when he saw what was coming down. He was confused. He touched his partner's hand. As the guy beside him turned, what is it? He saw Takamai looking up. What are you? Oh, the hell? Meanwhile, at the hidden tower, Konan rushed into the room. Nagato, she said. What is it? She had a look of absolute fright and shock on her face. Immediately, Nagato Pats rushed out, the 6 of them reaching up as they looked up to the sky. Tendo couldn't believe what he was seeing. A few words came to mind. Oh my god, he thought. Tendo quickly dropped the other Pats, as their bodies went stiff before they all just collapsed on the ground. Nagato slammed his hand together with tremendous force as he pushed out a large quantity of his chakra. Tendo shot up in the sky. He slammed his hand on the gigantic meteor that was coming down. Before he took a breath, Nagato did. He then muttered the words, Almighty. Push! The gravitational force shook the entire thing as it started to break apart, Conan shot out as she created 10 paper clones. They sliced and diced the pieces that were too big. Tendo body was falling from the heavens. As Nagato catch himself, he coughed up a bit of blood, having to use so much chakra at once. Well, it wasn't good for his system. It had just rushed through him like a chaotic attack. It stirred his coils. He has never forced to exert so much before. He's never used an attack on that magnitude. He could only watch as Conan defend the village to the best of her abilities, strapping explosive as she blew them to pieces. That is when Conan noticed something falling from the sky. It wasn't a meteor. It was a... Three of her clones rushed towards a person. However, he grinned as he extended his hand. A gigantic black sight, like the Grim Reaper itself. He gripped the sight as he swung it. The clones were torn to pieces as his eyes focused on the main tower. He went into a full-on dive, his feet propelling him downwards. He gripped the sight and turned and sliced down. A strange ripple of energy came out of it, just like Nagato almighty push, but this was sharpened and precise. The building was severed in half. Nagato was shocked as he watched. The building collapsed. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Luckily, he was not touched. Its remaining parts, except for Tendo who didn't have the power to use that again, moved upwards. He still had enough chakra to use the others because their abilities wasn't that taxing. Well, the revival path, that put a bit of strain on him, but still, when he was doing it for his dead bodies, just to fix them up, seeing that they didn't have any souls inside of them, it did not take that much. Nagato turned his head to the side where the building had been severed, and an individual was standing there. He was wearing a black cloak. As he grabbed the top of it before he tore it off and threw it to the side. Well, I must say, I was looking forward for a spectacular show. And I have to say I got one. You blowing up that meteor showed me that you indeed have some semblance of control over the power that you have. Those eyes, those magnificent eyes. They're still lacking, said Naruto. You're him, Naruto Uzumaki. Yes, that's right. What do you mean my eyes are lacking, he said. Well, I intend to get something better. Something much greater. And seeing you with those eyes, well, for some reason it angered me. I don't know why, but it does. So I'm gonna need them to go away. How did you find me? How did you even know I was here? Well, I've been doing my research. Nah, just kidding. I have a little spy. Well, more than one. Roaming around the elemental nation gathering info. The information I got was a bit bleak. However, it's not hard to connect someone like you to what people call God and the angel. Yeah, that wasn't that hard. And not to mention Itachi gave me some good info. Itachi did? Well, not... Well, he didn't want to. I was eavesdropping. Come on. You gotta do the lowest of the lows to get what you want sometime. He tilted his head as a paper blade sliced right where he was, trying to decapitate him. Well. Sneak it up on someone like that. You know, that is nice. He turned. Conan watched as his eyes had strange markings in it, unlike Nagato's. It wasn't just a ripple marking. He had megatamas in his eyes. Strange megatamas. 7 of them. She was confused about that. He blurred out of sight. Conan, behind you, Nagato yelled. Conan turned, but it was too late as the back of her neck was grabbed. She tried to move, but something pierced her. It didn't pierce her to end her life, but it pierced her enough to make her stop moving. His face came in as he licked her cheek. You're truly stunning, you know that, right? However, I'm afraid I only have eyes for 2 people, so I can't allow you to join my cause. She wanted to say something, but her teeth were gritted as she could not speak. You want her back? Here, have her. Conan felt something attached to her back. Her eyes went wide, but she could not say anything as he tossed her straight towards the robot path, who had climbed up on the building and jumped and caught her. Her eyes were looking at him frantically as Nagato saw it. Before anything could be said, Nagato felt a surge, but it was too late. The seal on her back from a simple contact erupted. The last thing he saw was her eyes as Robot Path and Conan was blown to pieces in mid-air. Flesh and blood flattering everywhere. As the remaining paper clones all fall. As that allowed many debris to fall down and crash down on buildings. As they hadn't gotten rid of all of them. Nagato looked down at the broken pieces of Conan that fell, and rage overtook him. Absolute rage. He lost control. Every single path except for Tendo dropped. Tendo's body was charged with every ounce of chakra that Nagato could put out, which was a lot. He raised his hand. Universal pull, he said, as Naruto was yanked out of mid-air. Tendo shot forward with an unprecedented speed and buried his fist in Naruto's guts. As Naruto keeled over, Tendo then raised both his hands and dropped it into his skull. Naruto's body smashed right through a building. Tendo raised his hand. With the remaining chakra that he forced into the body, it pushed open the coils. It also messed with the time of recovery, which would have taken Tendo a longer time to recover. However, this put a strain on the body, and after this, it won't be that usable. Uncaring of the people that were even in that building, he dropped so much force down that it crushed everything in sight. Everything was decimated. It was blown apart, leaving a gigantic crater within the earth. Tendo's body fell as it crashed in the earth hard, unable to use for a while. He overdid it. The remaining Pats got to their feet. As the human Pat stepped forward and he saw Naruto face down in the crater, walking over cautiously because he could still feel chakra and see it running inside of him. As Naruto slowly picked himself up, there was a few scrapes on his face, blood running down his cheek. As Naruto reached up with his finger, he looked at the blood before he licked it. I have to say, I haven't been hurt in a good while. However, I wanted to see what it felt like once again. Recently, I've been doing a lot, and not really having a good battle. The eyes of the Pats narrowed, so forgive me if I let myself get caught. As Naruto slowly picked himself up, his body was completely unharmed. Despite the small cut on his face, there wasn't any broken ribs or anything internal wrong with him. His body was a lot more durable than anyone on this planet. However, having your face being directly blasted by one of the most powerful almighty push that Tendo could release right into a control area, well, get up from that and then you can talk to him. However, Naruto was still suppressed. Too suppressed, given the fact that the 7 Megatamas in his eyes has not yet properly formulated into what they were supposed to be. There was a reason for that. As Naruto cracked his neck, he started bouncing the ball of his heel before he shot forward. Meanwhile that was going on, the forces were gathered. The troops were being prepared over the elemental nation. Obito Uchiha stood at the Valley of the End, thinking about his next move. This place was peaceful and quiet, not to mention there was no one passing through here. And he was just here thinking. He was thinking what to do. At the moment he doubts that anyone on the Akatsuki had the power to, well, go up against Naruto. With what he has shown so far in those eyes, maybe even Nagato would not stand a chance, which was bad. Not to mention there was a chance that he seal all the tail beasts inside himself already, which would make him much more dangerous. And that was problematic. Obito did not know what route to take. However, he knew at the moment he cannot really do anything against him. It was gonna be hard even if he was gonna fight him head on. That is why he would do what he always did. Wait. He would wait until a perfect opportunity. There must be a moment, a small moment, a window in this war where he could capitalize on it and get what he deserved. So that is why he will be there, every single step of the way, just waiting for Naruto Uzumaki to slip up, and once he does, his mind will be the thought. With that, he sucked himself away in a swirling vortex as he was gone. Time skip. Jiraiya arrived towards the hidden rain. When he arrived towards the location, even from a far distance, the man was baffled. Just like what happened at Taki. However, this was on a smaller scale. There was gigantic meteors that hit the village. Nowhere close to the size of Taki. However, it seemed to be a big one that was broken in pieces. Smoke and dust was coming from the place. Jiraiya rushed over as he looked to see if anyone was there. However, the strange thing about it was he couldn't feel a single soul. Where was the people? Had all of them fled, he wondered to himself. That is when he felt it. He rushed towards where he felt an immense amount of power. Arriving towards the location, what he saw baffled him as he hid behind a large rock. Naruto stood in the center of the village. There were strange vines protruding from his back. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people were on the ground. They were stabbed by these vines. Chakra was being sucked out of them and pulled into Naruto. Jiraiya saw a look of bliss on his face. He was distracted. Maybe this was... Jiraiya slowly approached. He knew what he had to do. There was no questioning that. He had to kill him. He wasn't even looking around with his eyes open. His eyes were closed, his head was down. However, Jiraiya saw there was a smirk, a look of relish on his face. Looking around at all the dead bodies, Jiraiya steeled himself. Quickly moving forward, given the insane amount of chakra that was being produced in Jiraiya believed that he could slip in without being noticing. That is why he formed a Rasengan, as he imbued it with a large quantity of his chakra. It was nothing normal. The Rasengan Jiraiya compressed as best he could. He started to sweat as the ground underneath him started to crack a bit from the power overflow as he compressed it into a tiny ball. However, it was packed with so much energy. This ought to do the job, Jiraiya thought to himself. Slowly creeping up, he waited until he saw its moment as he jumped. He jumped right towards Naruto, aiming right toward his face at least, destroying his eyes. He had to destroy his eyes. He had no idea what he was doing, but this did not look good. The Rasengan was shoved forward, however, Jiraiya was shocked when it was blocked by an invisible force of pure chakra that surrounded Naruto's body. However, there was a huge problem. Jiraiya had pumped the Rasengan with too much power, which was not something that it should be pumped with, because he was aiming for a shot that would expand. However, Naruto's wave of chakra repelled the attack, and it repelled right on his arm. Jiraiya was launched. The explosion was massive, creating a decent sized crater once again. Yet Naruto's eyes did not open. Jiraiya was on the ground in pain. The Rasengan force had backlash right upon him. It was a good thing that he had shifted his body, because his right arm was gone. As he looked towards his stump, there was leaking blood, as Naruto still hadn't opened his eyes. Jiraiya gripped his stump. Damn it, he cursed. His arm had been blown to pieces. He ran. He ran the hell out of there, as Naruto wasn't even paying him attention. He could not even get through that force that was surrounding him. Jiraiya ran, using fire chakra to cauterize the wound. As he ran out of there, back with Naruto, he stood in a strange place. It actually worked, he said, as around him was nothing but mist. However, what he was looking for was her. Hello there. We meet again. We do. How did you reach me this time? Well, I went back to the lineage, figuring that all chakra came from you. And the Julbi, said Naruto, seeing that you're all connected. I decided to try something. Mixing the already tail base's chakra and the chakra around from all the people in the inner rain. It was able to give me a link. It was weak, seeing that I can't even see you. Well, you still haven't reached the amount of chakra necessary to free me, but this will at least do for you to talk to me while I'm still bound. So tell me, what's your full name? Osusuke. Kaguya Osusuke, she said. You're not from this planet, are you? No, you are right. There are existences out there that you're not even aware of. That brought a smile to Naruto's face. Much more stronger than you, or anyone else, even I as well. Beings that power and reality seem to be nothing to. I know that this is exciting you, she said. That is why you should free me. Upon doing so, I will turn you into a magnificent warrior, to be able to face the best of the best. And why would you do that? Why would you help me? Said Naruto. Well, it's quite simple. My sons have locked me in here for a long time, alone, cast into an endless sleep. When I finally come across something interesting, someone that caught my attention, which is you, I wish to see how far you go, and I might have a selfish thing in it as well. And what might that be? Said Naruto. Well, my homeworld is not that fond of me, so I would like you to get rid of them as well. With my help, of course. So you're using me. Well, you're using me as well, aren't you? To get what you seek. Information. Knowledge on the cosmos. I suppose you're right, said Naruto. Well then, your waiting has come to an end. Very soon I will free you, and we will have a little talk. I will love to have that talk with you. For now I'll be waiting. I hope you move quickly. Now that I know that you're out there, the thought of meeting you face to face, well, I can't stand it, she said. Oh, don't worry. It's coming soon, said Naruto. Naruto opened his eyes as he looked around, looking down to see blood in front of him. He wondered what happened there. He paid it no mind though. All the bodies in the hidden rain had turned to husk, dried out husk. As Naruto started to walk away the village, everything just seemed to crumble. As he floated off, and he was gone. As for Jiraiya, he was unconscious in Mount Miyaboku, after using his one hand, performing one-handed hand signs to summon a toad. He had gotten help, having a larger toad eat him and reverse summon himself back there. He was back there getting treated, because he was in rough shape. This was more worse than they thought. Time skip. Obito couldn't believe what he was seeing. Nothing but destruction, death, and chaos. It was maddening. The place was a mess. What happened here? He had absolutely no idea. Time skip. Hundreds, thousands of ninjas gathered. They depart. As the place was calm at first, everyone gathering, everyone calming down after a speech from the upper heads that they can do this, that they will not be controlled, the elemental nation will not be conquered by anyone that rear their spirit up. The Kages were secluded as they monitored the battlefield. Tsunade was angry when Jiraiya reported back in with one arm, as she was furious. She was also worried as well, knowing that he could have lost his life, and that stupid stunt that he pulled. Now it was hard for him to be on the battlefield. He could still be out there, but still, there was a high chance that he might die out there. They had no idea what Naruto had planned. There was 5 teams. 5 teams with each of the groups. The 5 best sailors in the elemental nation, coming from all the other nations, coming together. They at least had the opportunity of slowing down the tail beasts. They were already candidates, picked out to have the beast sail inside of them. babies, to hold back the beasts, to have their chakra network meld with the beasts. None of them knew the Shikifujin, so they would have to work with weaker seals. However, that wasn't a big of a problem. Only the Nine Tails required such a powerful seal. There was also relics from the Sage of Six Path Time that Kumo currently had in their possession, the pot that could seal away almost anything. The 5 groups of sealing teams waited for the tail beasts to show, but what they saw startled them. Report was instantly sent back. What said Snetty? Reanimations. Snetty bit her nail. She never knew that this would be out. Damn it. Pull back the sealing team. Allow the ninjas to weaken them first. These reanimations have no concept of life and death. They will throw themselves into situation to kill themselves, and you as well. We can't allow the sealing teams to be brought down. Especially the 5 main top ones. We need them for when he brings out the Bijus. All of them agree with that. At the medical base, Sakura Haruno was sitting down. They were all waiting for the incoming. The past few weeks had been hard on her. She had literally went kind of psychotic. Her mind had broken down. It had taken her a while to recover. As she still remembered that she was a Kunoichi and she still had to fight for her home. She had to fight for her people and protect them. That is the only reason why she was out here. But after this war was done, after Naruto had been put down, because that was the only outcome, right? She would give up. She wouldn't want to be a shinobi anymore. She knew that she had worked hard, but the mental strain on everything had just been too much. She was gonna retire. Maybe settle down with someone she didn't even know. Despite after all that Sasuke did, she thought a small part of her mind believed that there was a future for them, but it was so small it was not even recognizable. But now, she didn't know anymore. She felt so empty and hollow, as her eyes were just blank, ready for the patients to come in. Time skip. Days pass. The battle raged on as reanimations clashed against the allied shinobi forces. Up until now, they haven't seen Naruto on the battlefield, not even once. The forces were being crushed. The reanimations were deadly. The 3rd Raikage was summoned. The 4th Raikage was forced to enter on the battlefield. His father was too powerful for them. However, something was wrong. The reanimations were a lot more powerful than anyone could even imagine. The reason being, Kabuto was not the progenitor behind this alone. Naruto has been studying the scroll of sealing for years now. He had picked apart the reanimation jutsu and made it perfect. That is why Kabuto was so grateful for his input in this. And Naruto had empowered all of the reanimations with a small tiny dose of his chakra, allowing them to break through any limitation they might have as a human. Yes, their bodies will eventually break down after some time, but the power boost that he gave them was enough. Hundreds of normal people were slaughtered by one reanimation. Some of them being elite, some of them being the Kages. They were beyond deadly. The allied shinobi forces were suffering a lot, and Naruto has not even shown his face yet. Not to mention, this reanimations was perfect. Personality wise, they didn't have it. Naruto had learned to strip it all away, to make them be a perfect pawn. They just fight for one thing: destruction and death. As chaos ensued, 2 more Kages pulled up, and things got even worse. Former Mizukage and former Tishikage as well. The right Kage had used a transportational device. Oniki could not pull something like that off. His body was not strong enough. Snevy was able to get on the battlefield. However, even she wasn't much help when more started fluttered in. It was then that he came. The sight shocked all of them. Madara Uchiha. Emotionless, rampaging Madara Uchiha tore through the battlefield. The remaining Kages quickly rushed towards the location, which took them hours. When they got there, though, the only ones that were standing was Well, Tsunade, the Raikage, with only one arm, and a handful of the remaining shinobis. Between the combined effort of Tsunade and Raikage, they were able to take down the others. The sealing team that sealed them away had been slaughtered in the process, so they had none right now. Luckily, they had brought a few with them. However, the reanimations rushed towards them immediately, so they had to defend them, and the battle intensified. Given the fact that majority of the reanimations were sealed off, the rest of them were being called towards the main battlefield. All the allied shinobi forces were being summoned. However, it will take them a while to get there. The worn-armed Jiraiya, the medical ninjas Sakura, and the rookies, all of them made their way. Everyone is coming towards the battlefield. The remaining reanimations were also heading there as well. The ones that came through this. It was located in an empty wasteland. No trees, no upturned rocks. The place was flat, allowing them full mobility. The 5 Kages working together was a terrorizing force. However, this Madara was ruthless. But something was wrong. He was not trying to kill the Kages. Something was not adding up here. He cut down and slaughtered all the others, but he was not trying to kill the Kages. And then he vanished. He was pulled into a wooden box. And he went away. Confused. They thought they won, but that was not a sealing. He was taken away off the battlefield. Just what in the hell was going on? The remaining others were pulled away as well. This was starting to get confusing. Just what is going on? Said Oniki. And where the hell was Naruto? Meanwhile, at the hidden leaf, he took in a deep breath as he looked down toward the village from the Hokage's monument. Tsunade had left behind Anvus. Immediately, they flashed around him. All of them, which was quite a lot. However, he paid them no mind, as he just looked around at the scenery. He started to move. Halt! One of them said. They knew that he would not listen, but they were making a plan. As Naruto looked down, seeing the pathetic sealing formula underneath him, he sighed before he simply started to fly off. A fire jutsu was hurled towards him, followed by a wind jutsu, a lightning jutsu towards the front. He waved his hand as all of them was repelled, slamming back down in the Anvus. Once he was above the village, he spoke. People of Konoha! Everyone was in the bunkers. The place was protected. The streets were empty. Tsunade knew that this might happen, and the people's safety was all that she wanted. That is why they were safely tucked away in the bunkers that could survive a lot, and she believed that the Anvus would be enough to slow him down. However, she thought that Naruto would meet her on the battlefield and at least try to speak because he was that cocky. The people started panic as they could hear him from down here. He's here, one of them said in panic. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, what are we gonna do? The ground started to split. All of the formations started to crack. Everyone started screaming in fear as the location that they were on the ground started to root up. The root bases that Tsunade had decided to utilize started to rise to the surface, crushing buildings, toppling everything. The people were panicking when the sun touched their skin. They were above ground. I said, people of Konoha. I was wondering, do you all remember me? He asks. A lonely, naive kid that you took your hate's anguish out on. I wonder, how are you feeling right now seeing me again? Everyone started to break down. Some of them holding their grounds. Tears start to fall. I am here to get revenge, some might say. Some of them start to scamper away and run. However, he sent out several black balls that appeared. They surround the village as they start to expand, creating a circular conference that surround the village completely. He looked down towards them as screams of terror could be heard. Yes, scream, run in anguish. Jutsus were hurled towards Naruto, but none of them could reach him. I want to hear the screams. It fueled my happiness, said Naruto. He then slammed his hand together. Strange formulas of sealing started to appear in mid-air. Space and time ripped open as a strange seal appeared. As Naruto was able to harness the heat from the sun, the ocular jutsus of his eyes mixed with Fuin Jutsu. It was amazing. Everyone screamed in anguish as their bodies started to melt. As the heat was immense, as Naruto had transpic a piece of the sun heat down on the earth. Well, not the earth, on Konoha. Trees started to dry up. Water evaporated as buildings started to crumble. Screams as people started to tear at their skin as the heat was unbearable. Bones started to turn brittle and break as they started to turn to dust. Bodies started to drop like flies as everything was silent. They were all just dead. As Naruto looked down towards them with a smile, the pain and suffering that he just went through, he hoped it hurt a lot. Naruto decided to tap into the power of the beasts that were inside of him, that grant him near immortality. Once he did, a gigantic structure emerged from the ground. The King of Hell, larger than ever before, towering over Konoha. It then swallowed the village. Its mouth was so wide it swallowed the village. As Naruto slammed his hand together, forcing his chakra out, the beast's mouth opened up. Confused people started to walk out. It was them. All of them were naked, confused. They were alive. Remembering what happened, they started to panic. As Naruto started to laugh, they looked up. It wasn't some dream. They died. As Naruto was oozing with chakras, he started to tap into the 7 beasts inside of him. His eyes pulsing. Now tell me, how did that feel? Said Naruto. Did you suffer? Many of them dropped to their knees. Bow with your heads, please. Please, they begged. As Naruto looked down towards them. Please, huh? He said to them. Well then, I think I'll try drowning this time. Their eyes went wide in panic. Meanwhile that was going on, Fu was mastering the power of Komi until... What the hell? As she turned her head, sensing something, Octopop sensed as well. Killer Bee watched as the body of his dearest friend was thrown. Rather violently, his neck snapped. 2 beautiful women stepped forward. They'd gonna change their clothing. As Uncle was wearing a white skirt that stopped to show off her long, luscious legs. She was wearing a white top that showed off her stomach. Over that she was wearing a white coat. She said it made her feel like an angel wearing all white. As for Guren, she was wearing purple. Her outfit was similar, but instead of the skirt, she was wearing slick, tight pants. As both of them showed off their stomach. Who are you? Asked Fu. As Guren grinned. That doesn't matter. We're here for you. Raising his hand, B told Fu to get behind him. As Uncle Rinnegan pulsed. Couple of hours later, back at the Hidden Leaf, everyone was lying on the ground. Some of them were still crying. Some of them were not. Some of them had just given up hope. Naruto was panting in mid-air. Bringing back so much people, even though he was using the powerful tail beasts, was a lot. And not to mention he's done it more than once now. As he was sitting down, resting, as the life force inside of him was too much to ever tap onto his. Although he had used majority of the tail beast's power, and it would take them a while to recover completely. As Naruto stood there, his home was nothing but dust, his former home that was. The people had given up. They were still alive, but their spirit and will was broken. Being killed and revived so much time, was the worstest punishment that you could ever do to someone. They saw themselves burn, they saw themselves drown, they saw themselves skewered. It was anguish. Their minds had been fractured, some of them gone crazy. Majority of them did. As Naruto walked through the village, none of them opposed or said anything to him because they were not in the right sense of mind. He didn't want to kill them, he wanted them to suffer. And that is what they're doing right now. Suffering. However, he was not ready. As he wondered where the girls were, Kabuto had told him that he'd found the location of where the tail beasts were, as they shouldn't be taking them so long. While the 8 tails was powerful and all, he could not beat Uncle. She had the more, visual prowess to take him down. And with Gurren there, no one could stop them. He looked down as he saw. He smirked. Speak of the devil. Going through handstand, he slammed his hand down. Poof! Missed us? Said Gurren. Well, I was wondering what took you guys so long. They're stronger than they look, Gurren said. But we got the job done as she threw. Flew down toward his feet. And 8 tails was thrown down by. Uncle, who gave him a smirk. I see you were having fun, she said. Yes, and it was amazing. However, the real fun begins now, he said. Time skip. The group were still confused. Members are rushing back towards the nation to, check on their homes. The leaf had been unresponsive. No one there. Naruto truth-seeking orbs had blocked out every single communication that they might have had with the outside world. Even the Yamanaka, mind jutsu the chakra, could not go farther than his truth-seeking orbs, so they were not able to contact, Sned and the others. So they were unaware of what is going on at their home right now. Sned was barking out orders when he appeared. Like a benevolent god, the sky opened up. It was a Fuin jutsu space-time seal. But it looked like the sky was splitting as 3 people descend. Ah, quite the audience. I see Kabuto was having his fun with you. As people looked up as they saw him, insults started being hurled Naruto way, as it made him laugh. The Kages were still situated with each other. Recovering, had come a long way. As Naruto landed, he was swamped. Him and the girls were swamped. He said, raising a finger. If I were you, I wouldn't do that. Oniki raised an eyebrow. Why, he said. Something was wrong. Well, it's quite simple, you see, said Naruto. He was wearing a strange yukata. Black pants underneath. His yukata was white, with 10 Megatama markings going down the back. However, there seemed to be no changes with him. He was still the same as before. So they were confused by that. He reached as he pulled out 5 scrolls, before he tossed it to each of the Kages. They thought that it was some kind of explosive or some trickery, but it was not. When Tsunade opened it, she saw documents. What the hell? How did you get these? She said. It's quite simple. Over the past few years, I've been pumping money and research into several of your facilities. All of yours, to be exact. Hey, Raikage. I'm sure that you remember this face. As Naruto turned into Arashi, the Raikage eyes went wide. You? Yes. All along. I was playing you from the beginning. The Raikage clenched his fists. So as you can see, all of your real ways, majority of your village income, well, I'm in charge, said Naruto. Same for all of you. But how, said me. Those investors. Was all me, said Naruto. Well, my companies. You see, I kind of own the richest nation in this planet, and that is Land of Snow. However, I also own 90% of all business that take part, including your shipping, your transport, the fees, the boats, the taxes, everything. Yeah, all owned by me. So as you can see, I'm basically in charge of your livelihood. Not if we kill you, said the Raikage. Yes, you're right about that. However, even if I die, all of your villages will fall in chaos. Why? Said Unki, as he was thinking about his family back home. Well, I already own all the minor villages. What I did to Taki and the Hinrain was an example. Jiraiya clenches one arm. You see, once the others realized, I had them fall in line. You were not going to go to them for their help because they're small, weak nations, but little by little, me and my little concubines here, he said. As the two girls looked at him. Concubines, said Uncle. What I could think of, said Naruto. I guess it worked, she said. Well, we control all of the nations behind your back. So I basically already run majority of things. All I need now is you five to bow. That will never happen, the Raikage said, as the people around them cheer. They were ready to fight with all that they had. As Naruto looked over. You monster, said Kiba, as he was ready to lash out, but Kunai stopped him. Naruto sighed. Wondering why you're not getting anything back from Konoha. I've already been there. What? Said Snetty. There's nothing left. The Fire Nation. I made sure of that. You're lying. Is that so? Naruto held out his hand. A strange mirror appeared in front of them. There was another Naruto on the other side. I figure you'd need proof. That's a clone of mine. As you can see. Several Konoha ninjas dropped to their knees as they saw the buildings. We're gone. Oh, don't worry. The people are still alive, however. I've broken them. So I doubt that it will be easy to reverse. Their minds have been shattered since I killed them at least 5 times. And also brought them back to life. They're nothing but empty shells of themselves. I always wanted them to suffer, and now I finally got what I wanted. Several attacks were hurled towards Naruto by angry shinobis. However, they did not meet their target. They were simply absorbed. There was a strange force around him and the girls that everyone started to realize. Oniki flied up as he raised his particle style, but even it was negated. Tis, 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 said Naruto. Told you it wouldn't work. Now, how about bowing? We will never bow. Alright, fine, said Naruto. At least, you can all witness what I can truly do. As Naruto reached, the space in front of him seemed to tear open. He then pulled out 2 things. 2 strange fruits. Before he threw them in his mouth, they were small enough for him to swallow them. Girls, said Naruto. They jumped to the side of him before they raised their hands. Strange seals on the palm of their hands started to light up. A strange barrier formed around all of them. They had enough chakra to hold it. Don't let him do whatever he's doing! They all charged in, but the cube rose up in the air. As it went straight up, the only person that could get to it was Unki, and his attacks were being negated once again. He frowned as he started to punch and hit it, but nothing was going through. As Naruto's body exploded in power. Despite the cube, even the girls were starting to feel his power. As everything went white, Naruto awoke in a black, empty void. What was in front of him was a gigantic monster. You, trying to take my power? I won't allow it. Naruto's eyes snapped towards Jubi. Finally. We meet. The Jubi roared. However, Naruto stood his grounds. You feel just like him. That accursed man. Oh, I'm much better, said Naruto. Now, submit! As vines erupted out of Naruto's body and stabbed into the Jubi. The Jubi sent a wave of killer, malicious intent in Naruto's system, flooding him, trying to override his system. However, Naruto's eyes seemed to light up with joy. Your evilness, your corruptedness, just make me want you more, said Naruto. As a struggle happened before the entire place went white. The sage essence, Naruto already immense, power that he possessed, his eyes, was enough to push the Jubi into submission, given that the Rinnegan was the very tool that could control it, along with the power of the Mokiton. Well, it was defeated. Back in the real world, everything started to die down. "Naruto?" said Gurren, as she stepped forward. "Now this is what I'm talking about." "Are you alright?" Anko said. Naruto lashed out his hand and grabbed the both of them. At first they were alarmed until they felt it. As they started screaming joy, the wave of energy that they were feeling, it felt like ecstasy. It felt like their whole body was being plumped with something. It was overwhelming. As they also went through changes, both of their hair turned white. 2 horns grew in their forehead. As their bodies started to turn a sickly grayish color. However, they couldn't feel more powerful. Once Naruto retracted his hands, the smoke cleared around him to show that his horns were curved. There was a Rinne Sharingan in his forehead. It was red, while his eyes were white. The Byakugan was the one to surface in his eyes, the Rinne Sharingan being on a completely different level than what he had before, right in his forehead. As Naruto's body had undergone changes, behind him it was like 10 tails fluttering from him, from his cloak that he was wearing. He had a staff in his hand. Anko got a nice, strange curved sword. As she looked it over, it was all black, a representation of her spirit and her power. Gurren got a spear. As she twirled it around, "This is so amazing," they said. "A lot better than before. I feel untouchable," said Gurren. "Relish in it," said Naruto. "This is what we are now. We are gods." Once the barrier vanished, they descended back down towards the earth. Everyone was shocked, afraid. "Bow!" Naruto's voice came out like a sonic wave. Hundreds were flattened instantly, the force crushing them down to the ground. Snatching the others tried to stay right up. They were sweating to do so. As Naruto sighed, he then slammed his hand together. A gigantic tree exploded from the earth. Vines exploded forward and captured thousands of shinobis, sucking them dry as many screamed. "Stop this!" Natty yelled. "Please!" she begged to him, as she watched people dying left and right. The Raikage shot forward, but Gurren rushed in and grabbed him by the throat before he slammed him in the earth. She looked at Naruto as he nodded. She dried the staff right through his skull. Anko blurred away. Slice! The head of Meitorumi was sent sailing. As Naruto vanished, Oniki felt something as he turned. Snap! His neck was broken. Naruto landed as Temari swung her fan. Naruto slapped it away along with the breeze. Before he reached out, he literally pushed his fingers right through her skull. Before he pulled his hand back, 4 Kages were dead within seconds. Hundreds and thousands more dying. Tsunade dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face. At how worthless she felt to do anything as she watched the people that she was supposed to protect die. Knowing that Konoha was gone, she felt broken. The rookies were untouched. Sakura dropped to her knees. As Naruto standing in front of her, she looked up towards him. It really is you, she said, despite seeing him majority of the time now. Sakura, he said, you've been good to me in the past. Tried to cheer me up when you thought something was wrong with me. However, Naruto gripped her by the throat. I always think of you as a nuisance. Now be gone. Sakura started to turn pale, as she could feel her chakra leaving her, but yet she did not fight it. She had gave up. She didn't have anything to live for. She died. Tsunade watched with tears as she dropped. Jiraiya rushed forward as he slammed his face in Naruto's face. "You monster," he said, slamming his face over and over. Naruto turned towards him, unblemished, as there was an aura around him that stopped anything from penetrating his skin. Well, nothing too weak. Naruto drove his hand directly through Jiraiya, pulling his staff out in the process. The Sannin dropped to his knees. Snevy couldn't believe it, as she could not even say anything, her mind fracturing at every death that happened. She lost the will to fight. Naruto walked over and held her by the chin, making her look in his eyes. "My, you have such beautiful eyes," he said to her, as he leaned down. He put the arm on her shoulder. "It's alright," he said. "Just rest." He sucked her chakra and her life force out, and she died right in his arms. Once he was done, the remaining people around, they fell. "It's over. Go home," said Naruto. "The ones that survived today, I had deemed you fit to live." As Naruto looked over towards the rookies, "You people," he said, "I have a special task for all of you." Neji and the others looked towards him, as Neji couldn't believe that this was the guy that he fought in the tournament. But what could they do? They lost. Everyone started to look around, on their knees. "At least some of you still have families to return to," said Naruto in a mocking tone, making it even worse. "Uncle, Guren, let us go. They've already been broken. The results of what will happen to your nations, who you now serve, will be very soon. I expect you all to dress well and behave properly. Otherwise, well, you get the drift. Entire civilizations erase." As Naruto calmly walked away, followed by the two girls, not even a single soul opposed them. No one stood in his path. They felt empty, dead. They've lost hope. Obito watched all of this, as he couldn't believe what was going on. Everything was gone. They lost, just like that. This person had become the Jinchuriki of the 10 Tails. And with his body modification and the power of this sage, which Obito was unaware of, Naruto was on a different level than anything. Obito decided to, well, flee. That was until a spatial rift was stopped. Obito backed away. Well. What do we have here? A little spy. As Obito turned towards the girl, Anko swirled her blade. As she looked towards him, "How did you... Naruto know that you're here. He just sent me to get rid of you. Because, to be quite frank, you're not important." Obito tried to get away once again, but she sliced. However, something strange happened. She sliced his arm right off. Obito stepped back in shock from his bleeding stump. "Well, you see, this blade of mine can cut through space and time itself. That includes your little portal there. Not to mention, my eye far surpass yours. I can cancel out the negative effect of your space and time seal." "What? How?" She shrugged. "Guess you just come with being a god," she said to him, as she moved in. Time skip. Zetsu was alone. Pain was dead. Obito was dead. There was nothing left. He could not get near to Naruto Uzumaki to bring back his mother. That is when he saw... What the hell? He was about to leave. Kaguya. Zetsu froze, as Naruto was standing there. "Your mother and I had a nice little chat, and I'm gonna bring her back. Run away and you will never see her again." Zetsu paused. "How do you... We're actually in this together." "Come here," said Naruto. Zetsu did not trust him. I promise I won't hurt you, said Naruto. You see, your mother loves you quite a bit. She knows that you're here doing her job, trying to bring her back. And it's been so hard, said Naruto. You knew. The real reason behind everything, Zetsu said. As he stepped forward. Yes, said Naruto. However, Zetsu tensed. He quickly flashed underneath the ground. However, his body was yanked out as Naruto gripped him by the throat. And where do you think you're going? I'm going to erase all obstacles that are gonna be trying to mess with my progress. You see, I've come too far to leave anything. As Naruto set Zetsu ablaze. Time skip. Kabuto was surrounded by the reanimations. Madara, the remaining few that he had. As Naruto clapped. That was quite the performance some time ago, said Naruto. Well, we are partners, Kabuto said. So what now, said Naruto. Do you intend to try and kill me? A part of me don't believe that is possible. Yes, you're right, said Naruto. However, you've been such a sweet person, Kabuto. I'm gonna give you something. Is that death, Kabuto asks. I'm not that heartless, said Naruto. Maybe I am. But you've worked really good for this. So I'm gonna let you have it. Have what? A piece of this world. A piece that you can control. So why don't you pick 5 other nations, not the 5 great nations, that you like to control, and take them, along with their valleys, everything that is in them and their people. Experiment. Do all you please, said Naruto. You're being too kind, said Kabuto. Come on now, said Naruto. Have to keep my friends happy, otherwise they will turn against me. Wouldn't it be easier to just try and kill me, said Kabuto. Yes, it would, said Naruto. However, you see, Kabuto, you're just like me, you seek knowledge, understanding of everything. That is why I want you to be there when we break this reality. Kabuto raised the eyebrow. I've recently found out that there is another whole life force out there, and maybe many others. Different beings, different powers. And I think you being by my side will be very helpful. Kabuto got up as he walked forward. Well then, Naruto-kun, he said. I think this will be the start of a great partnership. As he extended his hand, Naruto grabbed it. Yes, I do, he said. Sometime later. Said Naruto as he looked around, breaking through the seal that held that woman. However, she was not free. Naruto walked over. Kaguya was wrapped up in a strange coffin. He reached over as he placed his hand on it. It was easy to free her, but that was not his goal. A spectral form of her rose up. What is going on? Wait, you're here? Yes. I must say you are truly beautiful, said Naruto. Well then, why don't you free me and we can have a... She narrowed her gaze. What's wrong? Why did you stop talking, said Naruto. What is going on, she said. Well, you see, I only have space in my life for 2 hot, sexy, beautiful women. You're not one of them. You fool. You think you can control my powers? You think you can control me, she said to him. You naive little child. So your true colors come through, said Naruto. You think that you can best me, she said. Well, I would be able to fight you, but I doubt I'll be able to kill you. But I don't have to. You see, Kaguya, your immortality is what is going to be used against you today. After all, you're still trapped. All I have to do is... No, don't do this, she said. Unlike this seal, I will erase you completely. Pick you apart. And, well, take what I need and discard what I don't want. No, you can't do this to me. Do you know who I am? Yes. My bitch, said Naruto. Kaguya screamed as the entire place was shredded apart, as she felt her existence being turned and twists. Her body still confined, she couldn't do a damn thing about it. This entire space and everything was sucked inside of Naruto. Naruto collapsed on the ground, his whole body resonating in a bright light. As he screamed to the heavens, the sky went dark as rain poured. The winds howled as the earth cracked. As Naruto's body went through another metamorphosis. Once he was done, he got to his feet. He looked down. Please no boobs, please no boobs. Good, he said. He didn't have any boobs. He thought that he would get some of her aspects. At least nothing changed with him that much. Well, except for the raw, unimaginable, undescribable power that he just gained, which was amazing. As Naruto yelled to the heavens, several dimensions split open. As Naruto saw a place that was filled with nothing but ice, another one with nothing but steam, another one with, what was that, acid? Another one with heavy gravity, another one with lava. Knowledge started to flood his mind as he gripped his skull. Osusuke's, Momoshiki, Kinshiki. Naruto's eyes widened when the knowledge stretched back to the god. The Osusuke god. Another goal that he will conquer. As Naruto laughed to himself. He sat down and he took in everything around him. He sat on the grassy field. He's done everything that he wants. However, he refused to stop here. He won't stop until he can control this entire universe. He will take it all. Everyone, everything. He will become far above what they see as a god. He will become omnipotent, a being that power scaling cannot even manage. And he's only just begun. As Naruto calmly walked home to start the process of picking apart the elemental nation. Before he went there, he had to do some more experimenting. This new power inside of him can be brought to different levels. And he was gonna make it so. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. He won. He won everything. It all belonged to him now. However, the story is not done yet. Yes, in the future, once more information has arisen, well, this Naruto will be coming back. So you can expect a sequel, guys. Hold on. Something is strange. I haven't seen Mage Naruto in a while. Well, I'm confused. He's just not here. Usually he pops up at the end of my stories, but he's not here this time. Wonder what he's up to. What the hell was that? Sorry guys, but I heard a strange... I'm not sure what it was. Well, probably nothing. Maybe nothing. Well, that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoy. I just want to say thank you guys, and yeah, it's been awesome. See you guys soon. Peace.